Welcome to the Zero to Hero Show. I'm Jerry Mills, and coming to you on a cold winter day in Chicago, whenever you are seeing this or listening to this show, I am here with my co-host, Jason O'Neill, who is not in snowy and cold Chicago. Jay, how are you doing today, buddy?
Good, man. How you doing, Jerry? Yeah, it's nice out here. It's not too bad. It was a cold 49 this morning. So, I'm sure that you would love to have that kind of cold weather, right?
Yeah, that's going to be our heat wave on Monday, I think.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man. I'm ready for the weather to turn nice again, though, because I don't like the cold weather at all. That's why I live here in Florida. Like it's
I know.
you guys should move down here to Florida sometime and
You know, it's
enjoy.
not that I wouldn't. I'd be lying if I didn't say that we hadn't been talking about it, or maybe either it's the warm weather, or we're getting old fast and talking about being snowbirds already, and wintering in Florida, California, and then coming back to Chicago in the summer or whatever. But
Yeah.
that's the cool thing about the laptop lifestyle, right?
Dude, straight up. Hey, so like one thing that I heard and that
Yeah.
I've been thinking about. So this is kind of just off topic of what we're gonna do today,
Good.
but like what you can go buy houses in different areas that you think are sweet, right? Have you heard of Airbnb? Like you
Yeah,
can
man. We
Airbnb
stayed.
the house out, and have a property manager just manage these places, and you have like basically a place that you can go to the rest anytime that you want to, and you're getting your mortgage paid from people on Airbnb. Like.
That's a cool idea. In fact, the first time we stayed at Airbnb was down in Florida for your event last summer. So that was the first time we kicked the tires on that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've done it a few times. We just got an Airbnb in the Philippines, so I got one
Oh, did you
for our,
really?
our entire team. Yeah, so we got a place that can fit 8 people, and it's pretty sweet. Like it's got some really cool views. So, like we did it for our team to
Oh,
come
that's
out when we're
awesome.
going out there next month. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, you think about it. You can get a place in anywhere in the world and get it paid for from other people who want a vacation. So you can get it in the coolest places where people actually vacation to, right? And now you have an income producing asset for yourself in the real estate. It gets paid for itself. That's one of those ways that you could piggyback on giants, just like we do with Amazon, right? You piggyback on
That's
the
right.
giants, the people who have where are the people hanging out? And that's kind of like what we're going to talk about today. Is
Yeah, piggybacking on the giant of Facebook and
yeah.
Facebook marketing, right? So that's something that you're really an expert on, and I know that a lot of people out there that maybe are currently marketing a product or a service on Facebook or considering doing it, they've seen and they've wondered, how do I reach people? How do I build that tribe? Like you have already done with the outsourced lifestyle. So I think it'll be great to just pick your brain on the secrets to your success in marketing on Facebook and how that's helped you gather the right leaders. And like as you mentioned, talking about Airbnb, we're taking a team of people to the Philippines next month. And how did you end up with this awesome group of people that Alex and I were able to spend time with, a couple times last year and just a couple weeks ago as well, and how Facebook was really the key to that. So why don't we kick it off and just fill us in, why did you get involved in marketing? How did it lead to Facebook marketing? What's your why that's driven you to this level of success?
That's a really good question. So I started marketing, I don't know, like 6 or 7 years ago. And initially I got involved because I saw these like ads that were coming to me. Like I'd read these emails and they would bring me to these really long sales letters. And every single time I'd find myself reading one of these things and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to buy this. I know that this is the secret to success.
Right?
After a long time of really struggling in like other traditional type of businesses like sales and stuff like that. Like that wasn't my deal. Like I always wanted to be able to market to where I didn't have to go out there and like cold call to
Yeah.
attract people to me. I wanted people to come to me. instead of me go to them. So that was always kind of the underlying thing that I was looking for. Initially, it started out as like affiliate marketing, and I wasn't any good at that. And I luckily was able to get some really good mentors along the way. I worked for a company, and we were investing about $500,000 a month in different various types of lead generation projects for attorneys. So like we were in the tax debt niche, and we're always out there trying to, use JVs, right? Get people who are creating leads already. Like that was always the game. And then we tried to identify some of the things that they were doing, and then we would kind of mimic that, right? And try to start creating it internally a little bit. So like I was around a really good mentor, and I saw just a whole bunch of different ways that that you can create interest, right? So when I got out of that field, I really didn't have any real I had this skill, right? I knew something about marketing. I knew about it, but I didn't know how to like translate that into where I could actually make money with it. Like I didn't have anything that I felt that I had a value to be able to sell to people and really provide some type of like real value, instead of just like selling something for the sake of selling something. Like before I started marketing myself, I wanted to figure something out that I felt was worthy of marketing to people. So like when we created the Outsourced Lifestyle, I was able to take some of these skills that I had from my previous jobs in the marketing world, where I was building some campaigns, and I was really able to translate it over to what we do in dropshipping. So it was the system of finding the people in the Philippines to go out there and find the products on Walmart or Home Depot to list them for sale. It's kind of the mathematical formulas that go into like figuring out what to do, right? So it was really at that point when I was able to start having success, and like what really helped me get off the ground was I was active in Facebook communities, right? Like we were all part of the same community, right. So I was active in there posting about the results that I was having with the product that we bought, right? Like we came from the same exact group that taught about drop shipping. So like I combined this previous life experience over here with kind of the same type of model where we're just it was a numbers game, right? Like what we did over here is a numbers game. What we do over here was a numbers game. So what helped was I would post those results, and I always knew that the secret formula was just outsourcing. Like that was the whole secret formula. Like the entire time was to get the leverage. So like we started coaching, we started having some success, and it was time at that point to really start getting the message out there to the world. And the reason why Facebook's such a powerful medium is like when you're advertising, you want to advertise to your ideal avatar, right? You want to identify like who do you want to have come into your community. And you mentioned that we had some awesome people in our community, so it's like it's on purpose that we attract those people, So like the message is always clear and concise and consistent with wanting to get a specific type of person into the community. So Facebook's just like, that's the pond that they're swimming in, right? Like everybody's hanging out on Facebook. Everybody's there all day scrolling through their phone, liking stuff and commenting on stuff. So it's easy to get a message in front of a lot of people. And that's what makes Facebook such a powerful medium. And what we do is we sell on webinars. So if we can get a bunch of people in the seats, right? Like if you public speaking and selling to crowds is like the highest income producing activity that you can probably possibly do, as an entrepreneur when you're getting started out, selling your expert secrets, right? Because we become an expert. I figured out how to outsource, right? I figured out how to connect that to drop shipping, and I figured out how to marry those two together. So that was something that I felt proud of, that I could now start getting that message in front of people, because I knew that like it was something that would help people really break free from some of the traditional shackles, so to speak, that we go through, as entrepreneurs, because like you have to be able to sell something, right? So it's the ultimate cash flow business. You have to be able to sell something to get cash flow coming in the door in order to have a business. If you don't have anything to sell, so like it was the perfect thing for us to use Amazon and then, marry it over to like the Filipinos that we hire to help us out. it's great for both sides of everything. So like
So
Facebook just gives us the opportunity to get the message out there.
that's great, and that's a great kind of walkthrough of your story and how you've been successful. And I just want to pull out a couple things from that for people that are listening that they can really tie that into. So you were already active in some different Facebook communities, and you were having success in this particular field of drop shipping that was relevant to this niche. Now, we've all seen a bunch of Facebook groups, right? And what do people do? They just sort of like, do drive-bys and throw up something with a picture of them holding a bunch of bills, right? Expect that's gonna, be impressive or something. So this is a little different. So I want people to not miss this point. Is that Jason, what he did, he was in actual active communities, not just post your business opportunity sort of communities. These were communities that had people asking questions, trying to solve problems that were in a particular niche. Now you could do that with real estate, you could do that whatever that different niche might be. So he was active on that, and then he started posting results from Amazon that was intriguing to people. And you were also doing videos talking about, what was motivating you. They got to know you as a real person. I think that made a big difference. I know that for me, I got to meet you first by seeing some of the videos that you posted in those communities. So we both saw your results, and we saw that you were a real person. It wasn't just somebody throwing up a picture of like all this flush cash that you had there.
Make it rain, baby. Make it rain, right?
Right.
Go to the ATM, pull all your money out of the bank, and just it's like, okay, I got to put it back.
I'm going to take a picture with all this cash, and I'm going to go back and deposit the last $200 I had right back into Chase. So people should understand that you're putting relevant material, education, you're being real, they're getting to know you as a real person out there as they're active in those Facebook communities. And then the second thing I thought that was interesting from what you're talking about your story is because you were dealing with a problem that people had, the problem, how do I sell successfully at Amazon, and you thought up a solution to that, you also knew who your target ideal client, as Tony Robbins would say, or your avatar, your ideal customer or audience that would be interested in that product. So talk a little bit about how Facebook can be useful for reaching, and rather than a sawed-off shotgun approach of I'm just going to post something in my feed. Talk about the importance of those analytics of knowing your ideal customer and then targeting them.
Well, it's easy. Like who do you like to hang out with, right? I mean, if you like a certain type of person, like you want to attract that kind of person into your life. I mean, there's no amount of money that's worthwhile if you're hanging out with a bunch of people that you don't like, right? So we don't want to attract certain types of people into our life just for the sake of making a little bit of money. It's just not the way to build a business. Facebook just gives you the opportunity to target specific types of people, based on, interests that they have. If they're interested in this, they might be interested in what I'm talking about over here. And as long as you're consistent with putting content out there or putting something out there that allows people to get to know who you are, feel comfortable with you, because like we really are very disconnected as humans at this point. I mean, we're on our phone. Like you go out and everybody's on their cell phone the whole time. Like people don't talk, and we communicate literally through webcams and all this stuff now. Like we don't have as much human interaction as we used to. So I mean, this gives us the opportunity to be heard. Truthfully, to be able to get our message out there and try to get the right types of people. And Facebook just makes it easy to, for an affordable price, to be able to get your message out there. And, as long as you're very clear with the kind of person that you want to bring into your business, into your company, because every single person that comes into our community, that's a representation of our community. And, like all the people that have put their hard work over the last couple of years, they deserve to have a community where they can feel empowered and encouraged to keep pushing forward. Like, we don't want to bring like a negative feel into our community. We want to bring empowered people that want to support each other, and that's what's so powerful about Facebook communities, and that's what makes the Outsourced Lifestyle really work, is because our community is so helpful. I can't possibly coach 400 plus people at one time, so we have 100 people that are coaching, that are out there in the trenches, that are literally doing it day in and day out, and they're there to help answer questions. So, as long as we put the right message out there and we identify who the avatar is that we want to attract, as long as like our offer is something that's attractive enough, which the offer is to come into our community, right? That's what we want, is for people to enjoy our community, to feel a safe place that they can come and grow as entrepreneurs. It's not about like drop shipping per se. Like, that's part of the game, right? It's about becoming a better entrepreneur and continuing to push forward and to continue to make yourself better, and that's what's made this such an amazing last really year since we started like advertising hard on Facebook. I mean, we've invested a little bit over $100,000 in advertising, so we feel like we're pretty good at it at this point. We know how it works and how to get a message out there, and as long as we put the right message in front of the right person, Facebook's just a really powerful medium to be able to do it. It allows us to really connect.
Yeah, absolutely. And so for the newbies out there, what would your advice be getting started marketing on Facebook?
You have to be willing to get out there and be yourself. Like, get out there, and even if you don't have a following, don't be scared to invest $5-10 a day into getting people to see your content. Go out there and do a video, walking down the street, just talking about whatever you want to talk about. I mean, I talk a lot of times when I do like little videos and stuff, like, it's just kind of off the rip. I'll just start talking, and my subconscious will take me somewhere, and that's something that you can just go do and be. If you really want to connect with people, don't be scared of being vulnerable. Don't be scared of really admitting that you're not perfect, because you don't have to be perfect. Everybody thinks that they need to be perfect, but you just need to be who you are and be the very best version of yourself, and continue to push that boundary of who you are. And you're gonna, over time, it's not a short game, it's a long game, right? Like, it's something where you get your first follower, you get your first Linda Trotman, right? Where Linda was willing to invest into me as a coach, and then we get a couple more people, then you guys come and invest with me as a coach, and that's kind of the process. But nobody starts obviously at that point where people know who they are, so you have to you have to be willing to get in the mix. And like, a lot of people they want to have this stuff, but they're kind of like, they're scared of putting themselves out there, right? They're scared of what people might think, or I've run through friends, right? I mean, I've had friends that when I was starting this game and really starting to put myself out there on Facebook, that were kind of mean in a way. They would say sarcastic comments, and people that eventually, like, I was like, I don't want to be around you guys. If you're gonna try to take away from what I'm trying to do, then you're not my friend in the first place. Like, you should be supporting me, not trying to rip me down, because you don't know what I'm doing. Like, value where I'm coming from, and you stay where you're coming from, right? So, like, that's kind of the deal.
Isn't it sad? Yeah, isn't that sad when you try and step up to a higher level, and that what happens is it threatens other people, and out of their stuff, they act out on that.
Well, yeah. In my case, I came from a lot of years of trying things, right?
Well, I think what you're saying is another golden nugget for people. And again, it ties back to our last thing, is because you were real, we got to know you in those groups. So and I think that there's so much Facebook marketing stuff out there that gets into the analytics and things, and we can talk about that too. I mean, that's important. But you're really hitting something that people fail to realize, and really talk about in a lot of these Facebook marketing programs is you've got to be yourself and bring not just your good parts, your shiny parts to bear. And I think that's one of the dangers of Facebook that you're talking about is that everybody just posts the nice things on there, and even we use it as like a photo album for our baby, which is exciting. But it's one thing to be like, we're not saying air dirty laundry, but basically say, here's what I'm trying to do, and I'm working at this, and I'm going to shoot this video like you do, like I'm doing as well, trying to do. Here's what's going on, and that's going to resonate with some people. And I think I just read an article this morning, actually, because we're in political season, and it was a commentator basically talking about Donald Trump, right? And gets all this media attention and everything, and it's not about if you like him or not, but the point is, one thing I think that people do like is he's not afraid to say whatever, good or bad, but he really does put himself out there, and that's what you're talking about is, put yourself out there, because we live in such a politically correct, sanitized, everybody is like cookie cutter, that when somebody is like real, it's like so different than everybody else, it really stands out.
Yeah, it's easy to enter the 1%, right? You can't be scared of going out there and being yourself, especially if you're going to go into the consultant game. I think a lot of people, their biggest challenge is they don't know what they can consult on, right? They don't know what their superpower is. So we're always caught in this state of like, gosh, like, I know all this stuff, but I don't know how I can, get it out there. And like, all we have to do really is just pick one thing that we're really good at, and like, someone will be willing to pay you money to save them time and energy on having to get good at that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's something out there, right? That's what makes it work for me is, I just kept pushing, and sure, it was hard, but if I felt really a lot of gratification, or I was really grateful to start receiving some love from people that I didn't even know, right? And to start getting people that that I wasn't even friends with at all. I have no idea who these people are. I'm just in this random Facebook community, and people are starting to like my stuff, and they're starting to like give me for the first time in probably a long time that I felt like, wow, like I'm actually making a difference. I'm helping someone in the world, like by helping inspire them. And I would get messages from people talking about how they were inspired because my story was that I was so down and out when I started in this game. And like, if you're just willing, you don't have to be down and out. You just have to be who you are, and be willing to be nothing more, nothing less, and accept that through the good and the bad. Because I've made plenty of mistakes. I've had plenty of battles behind closed doors, with customers who feel the way that they feel, and I feel strongly about the way that I feel, and that's just part of the game, right? And you can't be scared of embracing that. You just have to be willing to go through the struggles and the challenges, and it really does resonate with people when you're willing to step outside and look at the world from a different light and say, wow, like everybody literally is on their cell phones right now when I'm sitting on the train, or like I'm at a restaurant and nobody's talking to each other. There's a family of 4 over here, and none of them are talking. They're all playing on their cell phones. And like this is my way of just being able to connect with people and be different than that shit, because I don't want anything to do with that. Like that's just not the life that I ever envisioned for myself. So like, it's easy for me to do it. Like it's easy, like it's motivating, and it's really, it feels amazing, man, to see like you guys do $100,000, and Linda to do what she's gone on to do, the $1 million plus, and all the people's lives who have changed over the last year. Like it's really, it's frustrating when people don't take action now, and that's why it's so great, because like we can kick people in the butt and tell them to get moving, you know? Like stop accepting mediocrity in life, you know?
Right.
And that's why our community's strong.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, I mean, getting real, being yourself, so important. What would your advice be to more experienced marketers on Facebook? You know, how can they, what are some of the key learnings that you've had in the last, you know, few months? How have things evolved in the last 3, 6, 9 months? So your advice to people who are currently marketing on Facebook, how can they up their game?
You could always bring people in that can do things for you. That's the one thing that I think most entrepreneurs really struggle with more than anything is they try to do it all, and
Hmm.
because they try to do it all, none of it really ever gets done very effectively. So one of the keys is to, you know, be able to bring someone in that can handle the Facebook advertising. That way you can now focus on the message that's going out there. You know,
Yeah.
you're not and if you're not a salesperson, right? Like, because a lot of people, honestly, they're not salespeople. And you
Yeah.
know, if they're not a salesperson, then they got to get a salesperson that can sell, right? They got to get someone that can do the selling for them. You know, you just become the maestro. So like, you have to identify whether or not you're a salesperson or not, like, and be honest with yourself. You know, because I'm not going to tell everybody that they should go out there and be a guru, because most people shouldn't be
Hmm.
gurus. Shouldn't. You know, they should go find someone that can be the face and they can make all the money. You know, but yeah, I mean, it's all about
So
getting leverage, get people to help. You know,
so
if anything.
stop thinking like stop being the business operator and
Yeah.
start being a business owner, entrepreneur, and
Mhm.
partner with people.
Yeah. Yeah, or you know, sell your services to people. You know, there's so many people out there that want to have someone that does the Facebook advertising for them because
Hmm.
they think it's so confusing and tricky. And it really
Right.
isn't. It's easy, right? Like, you pick an audience, you put your message together, and then you keep working on that message, right? You get feedback every time you put something out there. Maybe something doesn't work, right? We didn't get any likes on that. We didn't get any
Hmm.
shares. Like, people are telling us that we're a bunch of jerks or something, whatever, right? Like, that's the type of stuff that goes on when you're advertising. So you take that and then you change the messaging up a little bit and you see what works better. You know, that's it. It's just constant and never ending improvement on the messaging. So like, when people are starting out, they don't give themselves a long enough time to get the momentum that's needed. You know, it's like,
Okay.
I have $100 to advertise with. It's like, well, you
Yeah.
need to get more money. Like, you can't start with $100. It just doesn't work. You know, like, you don't have enough data to
Yeah.
make something work. You know what I mean? Like, you need to be able to like look at it as a long-term investment. When you're starting to run, like, that doesn't mean you need to spend thousands of dollars a day. You can spend $10 or $15 just to get information. Like, you look at it as, I am
Right.
collecting information. That's all I'm looking for. Trying to figure out, did they like that message? Did they not like the message? Like, if you can replace yourself from needing the money, like, I need the money so bad. If you need money,
Right.
then don't do it on Facebook advertising. Do it on someone else buying the ads. Like, go run ads for someone else. Like, don't try to run ads for yourself. If you need the money that bad, go do the service for someone else and use their money and partner with them and be resourceful, right? You know, but it really is all about getting feedback and just continuously tweaking the message to go to, like, your avatar always changes too, right? Like, I mean, probably in the beginning we would have taken anyone who could fog a mirror.
Right.
I mean, seriously, like, it was just like, hey, we don't know who our avatar is, so like, we knew what we had as a product, you know, we
Yeah.
just didn't identify like who our avatar was. So like, there was several months of trying to really kind of hone that message and like, who is the type of person that we're looking for, you know, like, we want
Hmm.
to look for people who like, we try to position our offer for people who understand that investing money into, you know, like how to put $1 into something and to get $1.50 out, like, how that's a good investment. Like, that's kind of like what we want people to understand, because like, we know if we can help them understand that, we can help them on a lot of different levels. You know, we can teach them how to do Facebook advertising because we do it successfully. We could teach them how to do drop shipping because we do it successfully, right? Like, but it doesn't start at that point. It starts literally like with if I was to start all over again, I would do it the same exact way. I would put a coaching program together, and I would get
Mm-hmm.
someone like if I'm known as the Facebook advertising guy, all I have to do is
Yeah.
go out there and say, hey, I'm looking to bring on a client for me to build their marketing campaign out. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna build it out. I'll build out the email sequence. I'll build out
Mm-hmm.
everything, and charge $5,000, $10,000, and get started and make a commitment that you're gonna do everything in your power to get good results for that person. And now you have results.
So that's great. So you're saying, I want people to hear that when you're starting out, the best thing you can do is build some uh, equity, build some raving fans by providing that coaching, so that you have people you can point to and say, hey, I've delivered this on this person and that person, like you did for Linda, like you did for us. So in
Yeah.
the same way, whatever that niche is, first start off with um, sort of like proving your worth and building up that, proving that concept of the value of your coaching by
Yeah.
getting some raving fans on board.
Yeah, one thing Russell teaches, Russell Brunson is
Russell Brunson, yeah.
he's been one of my big mentors, and he teaches, to go out there and get someone a result, right? Like detach yourself from needing the money. Like
Yeah,
you don't need the money. You need to get a
yeah,
result, and once you can get a result, you can leverage that result. You know, go out there and partner up with someone. Like if you're out there and you're doing things and you're active in the communities, there's someone in that community that you're involved with that would love to partner up with you. All it takes is you
hmm,
being willing to put something out there and say, hey, even if you did it for free, to get someone
yeah,
results that maybe has some money, right? That can put behind you if you don't have any money, right? Like it's just about being resourceful, and being willing to go out there and do the work first, and maybe not even
hmm,
get paid, because like that's how it is when you're starting out and you can't command a lot of value. You can't command big prices from people until you get results. So go out there and get the result for someone,
yeah.
whether it be yourself. As long as you understand it's a long-term game, it's
It's a
not
long game.
short-term. You have to be in the game for a long time. Like ideally, if you understand how the whole value ladder of a business works, like because you have different levels of everything, and like for me, I started at my highest value, which was coaching.
Hmm,
Like I
hmm,
started at my highest value because I was getting results in drop shipping, and I worked backwards in a way, from offering personal one-on-one, and I put a tremendous amount of time into coaching at that
yeah.
point, and way more than I really wanted to be doing,
Uh-huh.
one-on-one, but it helped me now get those fans, get those people who are like really really happy, right? And I got to get to know them on a personal level, and become really good friends with Linda, and she's been a blessing for our company, and
Oh yeah.
like and she's just killing it, right? 60 plus years old and just out there absolutely destroying it, and like helping have her behind me, because she had no problem going out there and talking about how great things were. So if you can do that, start at your highest value and then work backwards. That's when we started doing our webinar, right? We worked backwards because we had some cash flow coming in from coaching clients. We took some of that cash flow and we started running traffic, and we would get 30 people on a webinar when we started, and did anybody buy? Yes or no? No? Okay. All right, so we keep working, right? We keep working, and you just keep honing the message until you get something. But you have to have a good
Right.
offer. You have to have a good offer, something that's like, as long as the value of the cash that someone's paying you is exceeded, or as long as like you exceed the cash value, like if someone's willing to pay you $1,000, as long as you over deliver, you know,
Right.
give someone
One
something
thing I
that's
wonder about that with your offer, as your offers change, as you've adjusted your offer, how important would you talk about for people that are looking to market on Facebook, market a product or service, pricing, pricing yourself? How important is that in having a great offer
hey, if you
and
call
a great
yourself
and a great community of people that you want to have there?
Yeah, so pricing's about the way that you feel your value is, right? Like if I feel my value's, $10,000 and you feel yours is $1,000, I mean, we might provide the same exact thing, that you might provide more for the
Hmm.
$10,000, right? Like it's a matter of perspective in your mind of what value you offer. Like $1,000, while it might seem like a lot of money, right? It's not. And if someone's not
Hmm.
willing to invest, at least $1,000 into getting whatever it is that you're looking to provide. I mean, I guess it depends on what type of stuff is being provided, right? If all you're teaching someone is some skill that really by the time that they're done with that, they still have no idea how to go out there and do it, then maybe it's not worth $1,000,
Hmm.
But I think that if you call yourself the expert, you are the expert until you prove otherwise. Until someone else proves otherwise. Just like the dropship king, right? It's like if you call yourself the king, like eventually people are going to be like, how did that start? How did like
Hmm.
he get called the dropship king? Because I just went out and called myself the dropship king. That's it.
Yeah,
And like it just took. Like, it's like all right, nobody can like claim otherwise at this point, right? So like
that's
I
great.
can command good value. We've upped our prices. All we ever do is raise our price. Like we
Right. That's
won't
sort of
ever
what I
lower
was
the
getting at
price.
is that I wonder how many people are underpricing or undervaluing their product, and I
Yeah.
wonder if you get a higher value client with the
Hmm.
higher value prices. So
Yeah. Yeah. You definitely do. The more that you raise your price, the better quality of the people that you bring in. It's you don't have typically the money blocks when people are willing to invest a large chunk. You're not having to deal with a lot of the money blocks that you have to deal with when someone only has a little bit of skin in the game. It's too easy
yeah,
for someone to walk away when it doesn't hurt, right? Like if you're
right.
charging, I had for the longest time I had $397 times three, which would be the total cost of our bottom level course. And
Yeah,
all of my chargebacks always came from those people,
those
you know,
people.
those people.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's
like the
that is
vast
a
majority of them,
That's a
they wouldn't.
valuable nugget. Don't miss that, folks. You're
Yeah,
listening to this. Don't miss that. We think about ourselves like, well, I'll make it easier for them. I'll put a payment plan.
yeah.
And Jason's here telling you that caused more headaches.
Oh
And
yeah.
people did not follow through. So actually, by making it easier for people to not take action, you're actually hurting their success in implementing the program, too.
Absolutely. If it doesn't hurt, I mean, it's too easy to walk
It's
away
just
from.
like well, we started our conversation this morning about talking about Jason and I both have these health goals, which involves diet and exercise, and we're holding each other accountable. And sometimes it hurts to say, okay, here's the reality, here's where we need to go. But if we make it easy, then it's easy to get out of it. So anything that's worth doing is going to cost. Just like time in the gym, you know, eating salads, not eating, not eating the greasy Chicago food as Alex was talking about, which is so delicious. So that pricing and the offer is very important there. That's awesome. That's gold nuggets there. Um, Facebook keeps changing their platform. Do you want to talk a little bit about how can somebody build out their marketing on Facebook, with that in mind, and some ad campaigns have, they're always the rules are changing because it's their playing field, right? So
Hmm.
people used to be able to run ads and go to this sort of lead capture page, and you have to change it and the amount of text. You want to talk a little bit about how the navigating through Facebook's changes and what you advise people that are marketing right now, and maybe with an eye to the future too. Where do you see things going in terms of the rules of the game on Facebook?
Yeah, it changes. You have to be aware of what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And there's been some Facebook slaps going on for the last year, where people are just randomly getting their accounts shut down from Facebook. But truth is, most of the time when ads are getting shut down, they're somehow going against the terms and conditions, the guidelines, so Facebook doesn't like make money opportunities, right? So like you have to position your offer in a way that isn't a make money opportunity, right? So like the way that we position ours is, selling on Amazon it's the startup of choice, it's a good startup opportunity. So we're going to teach you how to partner with Amazon and build a business, a real business. So it's not like some make money. I mean, we skate around the make money, right? Like we
used to be able to do that pretty aggressively, and that's changed.
Yeah, because so many of those ads are just people that are just lying, and like Facebook's gotten feedback over the years on what do people like, what do they not like. Is this post getting a bunch of people that are calling it a scam? Is it getting a bunch of people arguing? Is it something that we want on our platform, right? So they're always kind of monitoring that. So behind the scenes, Facebook, they've got a team of people who are looking at the data, right? They're looking at how many complaints are we getting on this ad, and they're not telling you that. They're not telling you that, but it's going on. So they're only going to get better and more efficient at it. A little bit of the problem has been that they just haven't had the amount of people in the background, from my understanding, to really handle the amount of new advertisers. So obviously all these advertising agencies, and Facebook would be one, right? They want to get the big clients. They want to get the people who are spending the millions of dollars, the Cokes and the Pepsis and the Amazons that have these really, really deep pockets. So like you could be considered to be at a disadvantage because you're the small guy. I even got suspended when we crossed over $100,000 in our ad spend, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, geez, like we've been running this ad for 9 months at this point, and what changed? Apparently some guy behind the scenes did a manual review of it, and he decided that he didn't like it, and he just canceled the account, right? So that was that, and we had to create a new account and redo our ads, and so far so good, but it's a little bit of a cat and mouse, I guess. If if they don't like it for some reason, then they're gonna kick you off, and then you have to just kind of reevaluate what your campaign was. It's not like you can't ever go out there and get another account, right? Like if you have people on your team, and it's hard. It's hard for them to stop you for forever, I guess. But I don't think that they really want to. I guess they could if they really wanted to, but I don't think that that's their intention.
Well, it's just social media is, really, we've only all been on, it's been less than 10 years, that it's really less than about 7 years that Facebook's really been the thing, and we don't even know in the future maybe some other platform. We've got other platforms in social media, so it's still the Wild West in a lot of ways, and there's always things changing. But you've had a lot of success with webinar marketing on Facebook, and now doing a lot of content marketing and kind of bridging those together. What do you see for the future? Like if you could,
that's a good question.
If you put it in your crystal ball, like a year from now, where do you see Facebook marketing heading?
Well, for me, it's going to be different than a newbie, right? So for me, we're going to continue to run our webinars. We're going to continue to run that side of our marketing funnel. But at the same time, you used a really good word, bridging the gap. Like content marketing is a great way to bridge the gap. It's a way for people to get to know who I am, right? As an entrepreneur. So like putting content like this together allows me to connect with people who might be interested in the topic of Facebook marketing. But I think a lot of people might get overwhelmed when you put it all together. Like you have to focus on one thing. So webinars are the greatest thing to focus on in the very beginning, because it allows you to get a group of people in one area at one time and you can
Mm-hmm.
position, the way that you do a webinar is you educate, you teach
Mm-hmm.
people a concept, and what it typically is valuable information, yet on its own it's incomplete, right? So like I can teach you really cool things. Like I can show you how selling on Amazon is awesome without having to have any inventory, because we can partner with the big companies that we partner with, right? Like Walmart and Home Depot, and we can sell
Mm-hmm.
their products on Amazon. And
Yeah.
Amazon spends all this money advertising. So that's valuable information. I just got to show you, that part. Then we can teach you how to automate that whole process, of being able to build an inventory, right? Like, this is how you manage a big inventory, and this is why you want to manage a big inventory, right? So we teach something valuable so they understand, how it works. And then the last thing we want to teach is getting leverage on your time, which is how to outsource and find people to work for you. That way, like as you're a busy entrepreneur and most likely you have a full-time job, you don't have time to go out there and find the product, so you have to outsource and find people over here. So that's what our webinar is all about. So like all that information is really valuable, but then you can't possibly teach a 10-hour course in an hour and a half webinar, right? So like you
Mm-hmm.
sell the how-to stuff and the access to the Facebook community on the back end, right? So that's a natural place to start.
Mm-hmm.
But as you grow your community and your cash flow is coming in, a great place to start, putting some of your advertising spend is into content creation. That way we can bridge the gap and be able to get our message out there to more people, as opposed to just having to drive all of our traffic to one webinar. Now we can diversify the way that we're introducing ourselves into the marketplace. We're getting our name out there in front of people, and it's my vision to be a big name in the marketing world. So like the more that I put out there, the easier it's going to be for me to continuously be seen and connect with some people. Some people may not like me, so be it, right? But the people who I do connect with, we get to have a lot of fun over the next several years. So that's
That's
I
right.
I love marketing because it allows you to like really, you know, it's a great way to get influence, right? I mean, ultimately, it really is a
Mm-hmm.
great way to get influence if you understand kind of how to put the puzzle together. It just took time, right? I mean, heck, I just gave away everything right there. Yeah.
No, I think that for people listening to this episode, that there's a lot of gold nuggets in here, and that you talked about, and being yourself, and aiming for influence. Wanting to be a leader. Being able to look at what's the lay of the land on Facebook. Where is it heading? Webinar marketing, content marketing. Having an ideal audience. That problem that you have that can help solve that group. Being authentic and real, engaging with people, getting those raving fans first. Bringing people into your coaching and just help these people out first. Before then you get into this creating a course and marketing that first. Get some results for people. So you've had so many things in this episode that I think will get people going. Not just, and really, what you've talked about is marketing in general. Really, not just Facebook marketing, but I think that there's so much meaty stuff here. We can sort of wrap things up. But any sort of final thoughts on Facebook marketing, on advice for whether they're newbies, whether they're experienced marketers with Facebook marketing, and final thoughts you'd like to give?
Yeah, I mean, I look at advertising as an investment, not a cost. So probably the very best thing that you can do is start looking at it. I can't afford to advertise, right? And like look at it from a perspective of I need to advertise if I want to get out there, and I'm going to make an investment into my future self, right now, by being willing to like look at this investment from a standpoint as I might not get anything immediately, but I'm going to get my name out there. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
continuously get my name out there, and over time that audience will grow. but you can't. It's not a one-time thing. You don't go into it saying, I'm going to try with $100, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Like, you have to really be willing to make that investment. You don't need to invest a ton of money. You just need to be willing to invest it consistently, day after day after day after day. And over time, as long as you keep working on your message, the sky really is the limit, because you're going to start identifying what people like, and you have to, if you don't have a big budget, then you have to really be in tune with the people. You have to ask them, interview them, survey them, put a survey on your capture page to ask them, what kind of information are you hoping to learn? Like, what's your previous background? One thing that we do on our thank you page is every single person who registers for our webinar, we display a questionnaire for them to fill out to tell us about themselves. So we have, over 2,000 responses of people who have told us, we've been in MLM, we've invested $50,000 into business opportunities in our lives. This is what I'm hoping to learn out of this. I've never sold on Amazon. I have sold on Amazon. So like, we interview our people. That way we can consistently configure our message to try to reach our ideal avatar, right? We just continuously tweak that. But the only way that you can do that is if you're willing to invest day after day after day and not need the money. I mean, I don't want people to think that you can come into advertising and be like, oh, hey, I've got $100. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. That's not how you build a business. You have to think of it as an investment. You're investing into yourself. You're investing into your education. And if you just keep doing it long enough, then you'll be fine.
I think that's a perfect picture of it, because any sound investment strategy is consistent contribution over time, and then you find that compound effect. So that's exactly what you're saying with Facebook marketing or marketing, is that consistency over time, and over time you putting yourself out there and being real, and then you get that compound effect if you keep at it and don't jump to the next thing like a lot of people do. So
that's it.
Awesome, man. This was a great episode.
Thank
This was
you.
fun to hear your thoughts, because you really are an expert, and you've done it by just starting out, and everything that people who are listening, Jason's talking about, he's actually done.
Yeah.
This isn't something he's read and then regurgitated. I've watched him take action on each of these steps. So you're hearing from a practitioner who's learned in real, over the last several years exactly what he's talking about. This is not somebody who just got some sort of course and then regurgitated it. This is the real deal, coming from a person who's walked the walk. So I know that people have been taking down a bunch of notes on this, and if you're interested in hearing more about Jason's journey, about what we're doing with Amazon and beyond, a lot of other things now, you can go, check out the Outsource Lifestyle. And other than that, think about some of these things for Facebook marketing. And until then, this has been the Zero to Hero Show. I'm Jerry Mills.
And I'm Jason O'Neill. Make sure that you tune in, right? Subscribe to the channel. Yeah, we're gonna keep coming out with content. This is part of the marketing strategy, right here, is doing this content. So what a perfect example of just doing it. And we're gonna advertise this and try to get eyeballs on it. And hopefully you guys like the message, because we'll get feedback from you, and you'll let us know.
Right, give us feedback.
Yeah.
Let us know what you'd like to hear more about, and what you liked and didn't like, and we are always optimizing and tailoring the message.
That's it. Yeah. If you want to know some more about specific stuff, hey, I'll be happy to talk about it. I love this stuff. Like, marketing's fun. It's like putting a Rubik's Cube together, and it's kind of fun when you know where the certain puzzle pieces or the certain places fit. So yeah, well, I appreciate it, man. You had awesome questions. Thank you.
Sure, buddy.
So I'm excited about it.
Well, awesome. We'll wrap it up until the next episode of Zero to Hero Show. Have an awesome day, and we'll catch you on the flip side.